We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks Podcast, episode 492, part of the Lineups Podcast Network at lineups.com and the Big Heads Media Network at bigheadsmedia.com, Dash Radio, and our sponsor is Ticket Club. Go to newyorknickspodcast.com/Ticket Club and get 20% off annual membership and get the lowest ticket prices out there. You can get lower ticket prices to see this horrible, horrible Knicks team.
Yes. Do you no longer want to pay a fortune to go see this New York Knicks team? You can get slightly lower priced tickets to go see this team be terrible. Anyway, Knicks. I think we missed a week because conflicts on our end and the Knicks suck anyway. But we're back. And they won a game today. They beat the Nets.
Cool. That's awesome.
Okay, so
yeah.
I just start
Super
the
excited.
Start the beginning of the show. So horrendous news, shocking news. Kobe Bryant passed away. A lot of shows are covering this. A lot of people are covering this. We're not going to do too much covering it. But Jay, what was your, reaction? Or when did you find out?
At first, because LeBron passed Kobe on the scoring leaders chart to take over number 3 spot the day before. So I kept seeing R.I.P. Kobe, and I'm like, that's weird that all these people are having the same joke. It's not even funny. And then I went to Woj, which is your source for all legit news, and I saw that he actually died, and I was just shocked. I was like, he's my age. And then I saw his daughter and a bunch of other people died, and it took me a while to process it. It was very shocking.
I was busy with kids stuff today, and we're at my daughter's ice skating lesson, and I just go to I wasn't going to ice skate, so I just go to my phone to what's going on in sports. I think I went to ESPN. ESPN at this point just had the headline was something about LeBron saying what an honor it was to pass Kobe. I was like, okay, cool. And then I go to realgm.com to see if they have any trades going on in the NBA. And I see the first thing I'm like, Kobe Bryant dead, and I'm like, is the real GM doing some kind of weird onion thing? That's not that funny. It's goddamn shocking, and he's our age, which is even not the same. We're not young, but he's 41's really young and freaking horrific.
Yeah, that's.
Were you a big Kobe fan growing up?
No, did not like him at all. But that doesn't mean I want to see him die.
Well, I don't think anyone would. I don't think anyone. If you're saying I weren't a fan of his, think okay, Jay took up a helicopter.
He was basically the villain when I was, because the Knicks in the 2000s were terrible. So I always rooted for a different team, and I always picked a West Coast team just so they didn't conflict with the Knicks. And it was always either the Kings for the first part of the 2000s or the Suns for the second half. And Kobe was the foil for those teams more often than not. So he was like my villain for about a decade.
So I loved Magic when I was really young. Loved Magic, and I wasn't a Laker fan, but cannot love Magic. And then when Magic left the Lakers, I always would just follow. Remember they had Nick Van Exel. They had a bunch of. They were bad for a little while, and I would just still follow the team. So when they got Shaq, I was like, oh, I'm still gonna follow. And I always liked Shaq. And then Kobe came. I kind of was always following them a little bit. Not it's they're my second favorite team, but I would follow them and
Didn't Kobe come before Shaq?
Did Kobe come before Shaq? I can't remember. Maybe you're right. Maybe Kobe came before Shaq. But it was similar timing. I just remember they got Kobe and the Vlade Divac trade, and I was like, oh, interesting, because it was also around the high school era, and you're it's gonna be another high school phenom. It was he was right after Garnett, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, this guy's gonna be good. And his first year, he wasn't amazing, but everyone's this guy's gonna be really good. I don't know. I always enjoyed watching him. He's just a fun player to watch.
He didn't need 6 years to develop?
No, not like our team.
Okay.
But we have a bunch of guys who are 20, 21 years old who will be as good as Kobe. Just it's going to take 150,000 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people hated him, but I always found him just like he was super competitive, worked insanely hard. I always found him fun to watch, and I guess I like the Shaq. I like watching Shaq, so I like watching that team. I don't know. It's just like it's a legend from your time that died really early, like tragically early. It's pretty goddamn awful.
Well, that was our serious portion of the show. No jokes. If you want to hear a joke, we do a podcast about a joke.
The Knicks.
The Knicks are a complete joke. I don't care if they won today.
I have a question. So a lot of people are saying the NBA should cancel like the day, like all the games for today, and obviously they did not. What did you think about that?
No, I mean I thought it was better that the players were doing their own sort of tribute. Like Trae Young, he got the jump ball and he knelt for 8 seconds. He got an 8-second violation because Kobe was number 8. And a couple teams did a 24-second violation. So I thought that was, that's better. Like the fans and the players get to kind of mourn together rather than having to reschedule and that whole mess.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's also kind of impractical, but yeah, that's a good point. And also, he was such a competitor that you feel like if someone like his caliber died and Kobe was playing, Kobe would have probably wanted to honor them by playing in some way.
Yeah,
he's just like an insane competitor.
Agreed.
But yeah, pretty crazy. Okay, so the New York Knicks are awesome. They're just fun to watch, and it's great. And they beat the Nets today. Are you excited the Nets won the game?
I'm glad they beat the Nets just because I don't like the Nets, but that also made them have the 4th worst record in the league.
Yeah, I went back to Tankathon. I'm on Tankathon. I need to see the Knicks are high in some ranking. And I was like, okay, maybe we have a shot again. Who knows? So I have a couple paths for the Knicks to take. And by the way, we are the second half of our episode. There's another New York Knicks podcast who's going to join us for the second half of our episode. We'll have them on in a little while. But before this, I have 3 options for you, Jay.
Okay.
Because the question really is, where do we go from here? And right now, the Knicks are playing the vets heavy minutes, like 30-plus minutes for like Morris, Randall, Peyton. Bullock's getting big minutes. Otherwise, Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, they're barely breaking 20 minutes a game. They're not breaking 20 minutes a game. And Knox hasn't played 30 minutes a game in forever. 30 minutes in a game forever. None of these guys are playing big minutes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot you have to think about also is, like, are the Knicks giving up on Knox? Are they giving up on Ntilikina? Are you giving up on Dotson? Are you giving up? I don't think they're giving up on Robinson. And to be fair, if RJ was healthy, you have to think he'd be probably getting at least 30 minutes a game because he was doing it before.
Yeah.
The Knicks were definitely focused on developing him.
Yeah.
And you could argue the only 2 guys that are worth developing on this team are RJ and Mitch, and everyone else is. I mean, would you say Ntilikina and Knox should be a focus in development going forward?
Have they earned it?
They've not earned it. They've definitely not earned it. But then again, what are we doing here playing the vets? So anyway, here's 3 ways to go with this team. And you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Trade all vets. And also vets, by vets I mean, like anyone also, because like Portis is 24. It's not really a vet. No. A lot of these guys are young. Randall's 25. They're not really they're not so old either. But trade everyone who's a vet or on a free agent contract. All these guys that just got here this year, outside of obviously not Barrett, but like all the vets.
So you think all 7 free agents that signed should get traded?
Well, I'm proposing 3 ideas to you, Jay.
Okay, that's one proposal.
Hang on. Just let me.
I just want to clarify. All 7 guys. You that proposal is trading all 7 of them.
Well, I'm not even saying you can. I'm just saying you make every effort. If you can get it, you could get the 60th pick in the draft. You make the trade.
Okay.
So that's one plan.
By the way, the Warriors traded Cauley Stein for a second. The Mavericks gave Utah's second rounder for Cauley Stein. What do you think of that? Because I know you used to have a man crush on Cauley Stein.
He can hit so many threes on a doctored video. Much like the Knicks, I get drafts wrong. I thought he'd be really good. You know what? The Knicks had drafted Cauley-Stein. Would it be any different? Cauley-Stein doesn't play for the Knicks, and neither does KP. So what's the matter?
True.
And maybe we didn't sign KP. We would have been worse, and we have gotten like Doncic.
Oh my! I don't even want to think about that.
Actually, maybe he didn't affect the whatever. So trade all vets. Go purely the young rooks that we want to develop. All the young players, they all go big minutes, like 35 minutes for Knox, 35 minutes for Ntilikina. Go all in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the vets you don't get traded still get to play, but they're like back burner. And just go all young all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also, second idea with that is also, the second part of that is you are trading basically you're trading also away your cap space for assets also.
Okay.
So you're going all in on assets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, plan number 2. Play vets, let young non-priority guys fight for minutes. So basically, Ntilikina, Knox, minutes still stay the same unless they prove that otherwise.
So what's happening now?
Yeah, basically what happened now. Morris goes. Morris and anyone that produces a good return. Like Morris, if you're going to get at least a top 5 second-round pick or a first-round pick, you trade Morris. Anyone else that can get a really good return, you trade. Otherwise, you keep them. Keep playing them. And just go with the vets, play them, and just focus on development. Just say basically the only guys worth developing here are RJ and Mitch. Prioritize their minutes. No one else as far as the rooks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
And also with that, you next season you bring back all these vets also.
Okay.
So basically the idea being we still on like you basically the guys are on 1 year and team options, you pick up their team options. So
Yep.
like realistically, Morris gets traded, probably no one else gets traded. Maybe you get I don't know if you're getting a second round pick for Bullock. So like let's say you just trade Morris. Everyone else, you bring back Gibson, you bring back Peyton, you bring back Bullock, you bring everyone else back with the mindset of continuity really helps.
Mm-hmm.
So play vets, continuity. We'll have the good young guys develop. Everyone else, if they want to be a focus, they got to play goddamn better.
Yep.
The third idea is you keep cap space, but do the exact same thing with the basically that same idea with the vets idea, but instead of bringing the vets back, you move on to a different set of vets.
So what they've done every year this decade.
Yeah, do it. So idea number 1, go all in on youth, screw the cap space. We're going a full rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Idea and going and vets don't matter anymore. Just play the young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Second idea. We play the young guys that actually matter. The other ones have to fight for minutes. And then we play the vets, bring the vets back for continuity because maybe like having the same players here year after year will build a better team.
Okay.
And the third idea basically is we signed the wrong vets. Same play the vet thing, but we're going to get different vets next year. And again, you're basically your idea is the only guys that matter for development are Mitch, RJ, and the number 1 pick in this draft.
Okay.
The first round pick they have coming up. So what do you like better? Do you like young guys, continuity, or different vets?
I would go young guys because right now the Knicks are playing their vets and they have the fourth worst record in the NBA and they're 1 game away from having the second worst record in the NBA. And that's playing the vets. So that's clearly not working.
So your argument wasn't for the tank as much as we're goddamn awful with the vets, so what's the difference?
What's the difference? So you play all the young guys and you see definitively, are these guys worth keeping? Who's worth keeping? Who's not? We gave this guy 25 to 30 minutes a game for 50 straight games, whatever, 35 straight games, whatever's left. And, he's either shown improvement or he's not. And I'm of the opinion that you can get a good look at a player even though he's young, in that much time. I know some people say you got to give him years. Every team in the NBA has a young guy within his first 3 years that's producing. So it is possible.
That's impossible, Jay. You cannot have a young player that's good in the first decade of their career.
So, I mean, it has been done, and it is possible. So,
Is it fair to say if you go 2 in on your young players, you're almost screwing, like, not 2 in on the wrong guys, you're screwing yourself. If you keep saying Knox and Ntilikina are going to be the guys, and you're going to keep focusing on them, you're going to screw yourself.
well, that's why I say you make your decision sooner rather than later. I mean, ideally, you want to have a really good idea by the third year because they still have 1 year left on the rookie contract. And if you don't think they're the guy, you can probably swindle another team into thinking that they are the guy.
You meant to say fourth year. Ntilikina's in his third year. By their fourth year, right?
No, third year.
No. But Ntilikina's in his third year, so we have to move the year back.
Yeah.
And then next year you have to say by his fifth year.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Year, what do people think is going to happen to Ntilikina? Ntilikina has some positives. I think right now the best you can hope for is he becomes a useful NBA player, which he's kind of getting there, but he's never going to be a starter in the league.
No, he's not. You can't have no offense in today's NBA. You know, even I've seen people say Marcus Smart wasn't good his first 3 years. Marcus Smart did shoot better, and he had leadership qualities. And Ntilikina doesn't have either of those. Nobody's following Ntilikina's lead.
Well, I guess you're saying, like, is Ntilikina, like, we're hoping he's as good as Marcus Smart one day? I mean, it's not even that, like, that's not even that amazing.
Right.
Smart's not exactly, like, Smart's a fine player, but he's a borderline starter.
Yeah. I would say that's fair.
I mean, Ntilikina could be a useful player, but we have to say, like, maybe when he gets 20 minutes a night, that might be the appropriate number.
He's been getting 20 minutes a night for his entire career, and I think that's completely fair. I mean, I'm saying play more just to get a look at and see what you have there, but, like, as far as he's played so far, I think 20 minutes is more than fair.
Is there any, like, continuity thing? Like, would it be helpful for Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and yet to be named Messiah, savior of the franchise, who'll be drafted with the 8th overall pick because that's where the Knicks will fall to? Is there any benefit for them to playing with the vets versus playing with a bunch of young guys who don't know what they're doing?
I mean, it's always good to have, like, a vet out there. You don't need 6.
Well, I guess what do you do at the end of the season when you decide that let's just say, I mean, there's a slight chance at the end, like, you played all the young guys, the slight chance that Knox will still look like he sucks, and Ntilikina will have not taken any step forward. What do you do at that point?
Then you either swap rookie contracts with a team that's not happy with their mistake. Malik Monk, has been mentioned. He just had a career high 31 points yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. So so Knicks will go in, like, they're probably trade their first round pick for him.
I mean, so if Charlotte says, Monk's not our guy, and the Knicks are like, I don't know, Knox isn't our guy, and maybe they want to do a swap.
Do you think these reclamation projects are a good idea? Just in the sense of, like, who you're focusing on. I know the Knicks went all in on this strategy last year, and to a certain extent they did it with Peyton this year at the very least. I guess Portis also. Well, Portis wasn't a top 10 pick, but they basically saying top 10 picks that haven't worked out in other places. We'll give them a change of scenery, and then maybe they'll work out here.
I think it's okay to do that a little bit. I'm worried about the Knicks talent scouts. I mean, if you think about it, the Knicks scouted Wichita State and decided Ron Baker and Clay Anthony earlier are guys, and they passed up on Van Fleet. That really worries me.
They're bad. I mean, they were like, hey, there's all this game footage that shows that Knox doesn't really look that great. I watched him play one game in practice for us, and he blew
that chair away
off the court.
Yeah.
Well, here's one of the things I was thinking about. Who first top 10 picks have as many opportunities as possible in their first organization. For the most part, they're given every chance to succeed. And if they haven't succeeded, maybe there's a chance they suck.
Right.
For the most part, most top 10 picks that aren't good in their first place, their first team, aren't good in their second or third team and never end up being that great of an NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, I know people have been saying, like, Chauncey Billups and players like that. But like the list of players who sucked for their first 3 years and then became good is like what 10 in the history of the NBA. It's not a lot. It's a small list.
And now, there are a lot of players who end up being second-round picks or even undrafted players. Not a lot, but they're a decent amount who go to a different team and a different team, play in the G League for a little while because on their first team, they were not given much of a shot.
Yes.
And they end up being good later on. There are a bunch of guys in the NBA now who just like – because they're guys that weren't a finished product at age 20, so they didn't get drafted really high or missed out on being drafted – but ended up really developing a little bit later on.
Either that or since they were a lower pick, that means they were on a better team and there was just no minutes for them to play.
I mean, if you look at it like the Knicks, like that guy, like Iggy, not that Iggy's going to be that good, but Knicks haven't given him any shot in the NBA yet because they're like second-round pick, we'll let him develop in G League. A lot of teams have the philosophy of second-round pick. They're not going to give him a lot of opportunities. Whereas RJ, on day one, they're like, you're starting, which totally fair, but top 10 picks get such a great shot in their team. Maybe we should look for those second round picks or undrafted guys who weren't given much of a shot. Who was the last last guy the Knicks picked up who ended up being really, really good? Was it a top 10 pick that failed out elsewhere? Or was it Jeremy Lin, who wasn't given a shot in other places? Knicks gave him a shot and ended up looking pretty good.
Right. I think, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, neither one. Obviously, most second-round picks are busts. Most undrafted guys are busts. But I think you have a better chance of finding that diamond in the rough with the second round or the non-drafted guys than you are going to find a top 10 guy who the first team was like, this guy sucks, we're getting rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think the Knicks aren't utilizing the G League as much as they should, too. Like, if you think Knox is too rough right now, have him play 40 minutes a night in the G League.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, what will that do for him? It'll hurt his confidence. Toronto did that. They put Van Vliet down in the G League. They put Norman Powell. All the guys in Toronto had to play in the G League for a little while before Toronto actually developed them. Like baseball
and if
has a whole minor league system, and they develop guys because they think guys aren't finished products at age 20.
And if he's that good, won't scoring 40 points a night in the G League actually boost his confidence?
Yeah.
And if he sucks in the G League, that means he definitely shouldn't be in the NBA. So to me, it's a win-win situation.
I think there's a fear that like Knox goes to the G League, looks bad, and that kills his confidence. Well, you know what? If he sucks in the G League, then he sucks anyway.
Right, exactly. It's not like he's going to suck in the G League and then all of a sudden start beating up on NBA talent.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys that are like, well, he has so much potential. Yeah, the NBA top 10 picks always have a lot of potential, but a lot of them don't work out.
You know what has potential? Every single person ever drafted in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to get that. I don't know if you're aware. It's really hard to get drafted by the NBA. I tried. It didn't work.
Did?
Yeah.
No? The Knicks wouldn't sign you?
No. It's hard. It's hard.
So
Harder than I thought.
I right here, Jay, undiscovered Knicks. Stop going for the top 10 picks. Don't forget about Monk. Jay here was not given a chance in the NBA.
Was
he might be the guy
not
you
even
want.
given a shot.
Yeah. I mean, baseball, there are a lot of guys whose first year in baseball is when they're 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems reasonable that not every one of these guys is ready at age 20. So I don't know. Like, it's just so Miami's starting two guys who are undrafted free agents because the guys got developed.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Knicks would have just given up on them or not given them a shot.
We have another show joining us very shortly. Let's just do some questions, and then we can jump into with them.
Okay.
It's the Knicks Rewind Podcast. Will be joining us shortly. Jeffrey writes, when is Mike Miller going to feel he has enough clout to yell at the team or bench Julius Randle for extended minutes when he goes into his poor man Melo routine?
Honestly, if I was the coach, I would be like, if you do that spin move into a double team and turn the ball over, I'm pulling you for an entire quarter. And I'm doing that every time for the rest of your time here.
Jay, if Mike Miller's only the only directive was win as many games as you can, which clearly that's the directive of Mike Miller.
Yeah.
You're gonna play Randle and you're gonna die on the hill with Randle.
But you're not gonna win if he's spinning into the paint and turning the ball over. He had 6 turnovers today.
Yeah, you take him out. They won the game. You take him out and you put in Knox. It gets worse. Randle's your best player. Your best player gets I mean, whatever you want to say about it, he's your best or one of your best players. He gets he gets to do more things out there and screw more things up, and the coach is going to let him because he's your best player.
Yeah, well, maybe he gets even better if he gets some discipline.
Stop trying to develop players, Jay. We don't do that here.
Like Knox.
Patrick Wright.
No, I mean, it's like Randall. You're a really good player, but that move sucks. Stop doing that move.
He's, you know what, he clearly is doing more things right under Miller. His stats have gone up. He's looked better. I know he does some bad stuff, but he's clearly a better player than he was under Fizz.
He's not a bad. I've been saying it all season. I drafted him on my fantasy team. I have confidence in him. It's just that move's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, fairness. Okay, Patrick Wright. Who would you rather have, Zion, Luka, or Ja?
Luka.
Weird that he didn't include Barrett.
Luka. I didn't even have to think about it. Luka's going to be league MVP in like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, he has nights where he goes like 2 for 10 from 3, which is crazy. But he's amazing.
But then he has like 30, 15, 10 triple doubles. So
yeah, I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to go with my ranking here. I did Luka, then Ja, then Zion. Zion's looked great since he's been back, purely in the fact that the greatest injury risk of all three of them. So
yeah, I think he's going to be one of those great stats when he's healthy, not healthy very often, kind of like a Blake Griffin type.
I was listening to Bill Simmons' most recent podcast, and he was like, the Knicks, one pick off of Steph Curry, one pick off of Ja. He's like, if Ja was doing his stuff he was doing right now in Memphis, in New York would be going insane.
And in the position that the Knicks have needed for like 20 years.
It's brutal. There's any emails, Jay?
Yeah, there's a couple of emails. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. nyknickspodcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon. So we have an email from Jonathan. He writes, the title of the email is Dodson. Why is Dodson still playing over Trier? And my answer to that is because Dodson is way better.
Dodson's looked pretty good lately. He's earned more minutes than Knox has. I mean, like if you're gonna just look at how they're playing on the court, Dodson deserves more minutes than Knox.
I would. This might get us hate mail. I would take Dodson over Knox and Ntilikina.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he's just.
I don't
better.
think.
Like,
have you been on Twitter? I don't think, obviously, for Frank, for Twitter people.
People are freaking insane. But Dodson looks like he doesn't look like a starter, but looks like a useful bench player. More so, he's a better shooter than those two.
Dodson would get 15 minutes on a number of NBA teams. Knox and Frank would not.
I think the Knicks have done Trier wrong. I think Trier. I don't think he's as bad as everyone's saying. He looked pretty good at times last year. I don't think he's going to be he'd be a solid bench player, and he was actually at least he can hit a shot.
Yeah, I just feel like Trier is Dodson with worse defense, so there's no real room for him.
I don't know. I mean, Trier's better defense than Knox. Like Trier also deserves more minutes than Knox does.
Well, yeah, maybe everybody on the team deserves that. I also don't like all the pandering when we watch games. It's like Frank gets one layup, and all of a sudden the announcers are just like, "Oh, Frank, he did what he's supposed to do, and good boy, and I'm so proud of him."
He got 11 points tonight. Nick's Twitter believes he got 80.
It's like a dog.
He got 81 the match like Kobe tonight, according to Nick's Twitter.
It's like a dog who always shits on the carpet, and one day he waited to go outside to shit, and they're like, "Good boy. You did it. You did what you're supposed to do." It's like, guy got 11 points.
I got to call the other guy. So read the last email.
Fine, I'll rant next week. Johnny writes, nope, that is who we're having on. So never mind.
You're that was genius. Do you want to just call them then?
Jorge writes, do you guys think we should go all out for Brandon Ingram? Also, can you give a shout out to my Mook friend Jesse? Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. Brandon Ingram is restricted, so the Knicks should max him, but I don't see how the Pelicans don't match that.
Well, if he says all out, then I think he means it's just like trading.
I mean, I wouldn't go out trading, but I mean, if they want Marcus Morris and Julius Randle, then by all means.
Would you do a sign and trade?
What do you have to trade?
You probably have to trade whatever they ask for.
No, I know. I don't want to do a sign and trade, Jay. I don't. We're going to offer him a max contract. They're going to match it. They're not going to want him on the team.
Yeah,
Like, what are they doing? Why would they not want him?
that's true.
Like, it's just a silly exercise.
So the answer is yes, but you're right. We're not going to get him.
Okay, let's call these guys. Oh, by the way, the Knicks hired a new brand agency, who LeBron, who's endorsed because that's great. LeBron enjoys this guy. This guy Steve Stout. He's supposed to rebrand the Knicks. How about you stop losing games? How about you stop running a franchise into the ground?
Well, I read an article that said that he is the guy who made the Nets hip, and I was thinking, when did the Nets become hip? Because nobody likes the Nets still.
He must be employed in the multiverse. He doesn't exist in this earth.
No,
Okay.
no, the Nets are not hip, and I don't think they ever will be. So, good job though, Knicks.
Okay, let's call these other guys.
Awesome.
Knicks Rewind Podcast. We have a special guest, the New York Knicks podcast with Marc and Jay, and that's you guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you for having us on. We're doing a joint show today. Yeah, we're doing a joint show today. We're going to talk about. We figured we might as well do a joint show because the Knicks are that good.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, we're super excited, you know?
Yeah, the Knicks are just an amazing, amazing team. There's so many great things to talk about. So right before we started, you had asked, do you think that we dodged the bullet by not getting Kyrie? Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, a billion %. Yes.
I mean, the thing is that it sounds like it was a package deal, though. You had to get you got Durant. You got
So
Kyrie.
the guy who's injured and the guy who is now also injured and who also just left his teammates today. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
I mean,
It's good.
I'd take Kyrie and KD though over what we have now and anything we've had over the last 10 years. More
It
than
is
that.
a dumpster fire right now. So like KD at least brings some hope, though. In fairness, I can't imagine KD will be 100% next year. Like, you're probably not getting 100% KD till 2 years from now.
Till he's past his prime.
Yeah, no,
And even 2 years from now, he's going to be like 32. You know, so he might already be on like a decline. So it is a risky.
And you're going to spend the next 2 years having Kyrie destroy your franchise. Just like as a team, not like as a player. But
he did. I mean, he ruined Boston's year last year. So this whole net situation kind of goes to show what kind of locker room guy and what kind of player he is. Really, now that we've seen it multiple times.
I've said so many times already that the guy that said, "Hey, LeBron, I know we get to go to the finals every year. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to leave." That doesn't sound like the guy who wants to win.
Yeah,
It's not the point.
exactly.
Not even close.
Yeah. All right. So, recent stretch of games. You guys watched the game tonight, I'm sure, and this past week. What have you seen so far? Just like this week, and we're gonna get to in a bit.
Team is so awful. It's just like how it's what should they do going forward? Like, do you play the vets and keep doing this? Well, Jay and I were just talking before this. Do you play the vets? Do you trade all the vets, going all in the young guys? Do you bring in different vets? Do you keep the vets because you have continuity for next season? What the hell are they doing?
All right, so this is like what I'm hoping they're doing. Recently, as you guys know, they've been playing like the vets more than the young guys, and there was like a game like a week or two ago that the young guys played like 12 minutes each, and Morris, Randall, Taj, our veteran guys, played like 35. I'm hoping they're playing them really to get their trade value up, and we make moves around the deadline, and then forfeit the second half of the season, I guess, by playing Knox, Frank, Mitch, and I'm totally down for that. I don't see any of these guys as a big part of our future.
The thing is, though, they don't want to do that because Mills and Perry want to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
And, like, it's reported that, like, if the team shows, quote-unquote, progress, like, they'll keep their jobs. Like, that's what Dolan wants to see. So, like, they have no incentive to trade these guys if they trade them, we're going to be, like, terrible because, like, our young guys are not ideal. But hopefully it makes them
What
better.
do you guys think?
Every incentive is not aligned. Like, yeah, right. Mills and Perry got to keep their jobs. They got to win. They got to try to win. That doesn't work out well because this team is not a win now or win ever team. Yeah. That part screws us. Also, I don't know what playing the vets get. Like, we beat the Nets today. What does that accomplish? Like, it's just like Randall's playing well, Morris plays well. I don't know what that does for us. We've had lots of games the last few years where they win some games. You're like, oh well, they got to win the game for the culture. And then they get a worse draft pick, and then they end up with guys like Knox. It doesn't work out.
Right. The only thing that this Nets game gives me is pride at school, just to like shut my Nets friends up.
Yeah, I'm happy beating the Nets.
This game, but
I'm happy beating
as
the
a-
Mavs. There's a couple of teams that it's like fine that
Mavs
they
and
beat,
Nets.
but
Yeah.
So
Celtics maybe. We had to beat the Celtics.
So I have a question. You guys are high school juniors?
Yes, both
Okay.
juniors, yeah.
So you are verifying with me. You are confirming there Nets fans in high school exist. Like there are people there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
this is here. Like, it's a lot of kids who started following basketball when
They came to
Barclays
Brooklyn.
Center
Yeah, when they came to
happened
Brooklyn.
and that.
Yeah.
So,
are they
I'm
fans of
fortunate
the
enough
Brooklyn Knight? Do you guys remember that?
Do you remember that?
I
Oh my
forgot.
god.
I forgot about that thing. I think didn't they just like dismantle that?
They pretended it didn't
They're
happen
probably-
about 6 minutes after it happened.
No, they were
I mean,
they're fans of the team.
I mean, do you guys know that the team at some point when they were in New Jersey for a split second they were going to be called the Swamp Dragons?
Are you
Were
serious?
they actually?
Yeah.
That this is a real thing that was almost done. The Nets have been. I
my
mean,
When
the
they
Nets,
came-
the Nets have always been a joke. I mean, they actually obviously they had for a while with Jason Kidd and stuff. They had great teams, but they've just been a shit franchise also.
yeah, they were competent.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were.
I mean, I would love to have their level. I mean, they had some good teams, but I'm just shocked that they're actually like I did not think they really had much of a fan base in Brooklyn.
No,
You guys-
it's slowly growing, and you can see that like among kids our
obviously
age,
it's
like
growing. I
it's
mean-
growing. But I feel like a lot of the fans are white moms, like with money, or high school kids who live close to Barclays Center.
That's who we know.
That's
yeah.
that's who we know.
But also, like Kyrie and KD, like two of the most popular players in the NBA. So like that's gonna bring them a lot of fans. Kyrie, kids love Kyrie. Kids love Kyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
weird.
I mean,
Sure.
makes
Yeah.
sense to kids. The Earth's flat. He believes that. Sounds good to me. It also, just to be fair, like if you had like your kid's like, who should I root for, the Nets or the Knicks? Well, the Nets have Kevin Durant, and the Knicks are a joke. So like, sure, root for the Nets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just the Garden, man. I don't know how you can't root for New York. Like, it's just too much history.
But
like,
It's
I
like,
don't know.
who's your idol, Julius Randle or Kevin Durant? I mean,
yeah. I think the Knicks fans are some of the best fans, if not the best fans in all of the NBA. We are the diehard for a team that is so bad. Like we're out there, like the stadium was like the arena was packed last year for the Knicks' 17th win of the season. Everyone's going crazy.
Yeah.
Like no other team can do that. But any other team, like they're bad. The fans go, bye. We'll let us know when you're good again. We'll come again.
I mean, I think for the younger,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think for the younger generation, they've never even seen a good Knicks team, so it doesn't mean a lot to them. All the Knicks history that happened in like the 70s, like I don't think it's the time we like almost didn't lose but we lost. Like I don't think that really does it for them.
The best team we've seen is 2013 Knicks tape.
Right, exactly.
Second round.
Yeah.
loss.
I mean, that team was a fun team, but
But that's
yeah,
not
you
going to
got-
drive a lifetime of devotion.
how are you guys devoted to the team? We had the 90s. What did you got? How are you rooting for this team?
It's
Like
Frank.
every like
We have Frank.
We really had, we had the 32 win, the Derrick Rose team. Was fun. You know, we had Kristaps' rookie year. That was fun. You know, that's what we have. Like, that's literally what we have.
This is
And
the most
then
depressing list I've
APD
ever heard.
tearing his ACL. Depressing.
I mean,
Yeah.
at
Very
least, like,
depressing.
no offense to you. I mean, at least we had like this 90s Knicks, and we had like we were like we started a podcast, and we were like, oh, we had like these great memories, and we were like diehard fans from that. You guys are like, hey, the team they won 25 games last year. Let's start a podcast.
Yeah. We have like Lou Amundsen. Like, let's do this. Like, we got a lot of promise here.
No, that's us. We're used to it, and it just kind of like clinging on to the hope that like one year, like when we're good, it's going to be like the greatest year of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like that. I guess that's what I look forward to.
Well, we had
guys
that
are
same
cheap.
plan 11 years ago when we started this podcast.
You guys should only. It'd be really funny if you guys just really focus on like celebrating parts of like your memories of the Knicks. Like you guys were like, Okay, this episode's dedicated to Lance Thomas and all his greatness of the Knicks. Like,
Yeah, actually, last episode we did some of the rapid fire questions, and a lot of them was like favorite Knicks players, least favorite Knicks players. Least favorite was like Banyani for me, and like who was it for you? Hardaway.
Yeah.
And it's just we haven't had a whole lot of history with this team, but one day I'm hoping that we can say like, damn, I really loved watching this guy, and it wasn't, it wasn't like Frank Ntilikina.
Well,
Like,
your
I do
least
love watching
favorite,
Frank, but
your least favorite is also my least favorite. So at least we there's some
I agree
overlap
with the
there.
Marks thing. You guys have been watching You guys have been watching the Knicks since like 2010, maybe 2011.
yeah, yeah.
If you had to
probably.
put your top 5 team, you take 5 players. This is my top 5 players for the time I've been watching. Who would you pick? Like build a
like
starting 5.
That's a good question.
Obviously, Melo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyson Chandler center.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Adder KP at 4.
Ooh. See,
honestly, like prime stat was better than like the season that Stat had in 2020, like 2010-11 was like better than any season KP had.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, if you put KP at the 4, then you can't have Melo at the 4, and Melo should be a 4.
Yeah. Melo should be a 4.
Okay, yeah.
But you also can't put Stat anywhere, so you got to take Chandler or Stat off the floor. Well, Chandler was a defensive player of the year.
If I remember from the time when Amari and Melo were here, the Knicks played best when Amari was not on the floor.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So you got Melo at the 4, Chandler at the 5.
No,
where else?
Chandler, Melo, 3.
We'll still on 3. Point guard Raymond Felton. I don't know.
Holy crap!
Who we had?
Lynn?
Who do you guys think for that for point guard?
I'm trying. I mean,
our list isn't much better. If we go back like 30 years, we had like Charlie Ward. It's not like it's any better.
Never had a point guard thing. You could just pretend to start Steph. Steph Marbury put up good stats here. So
we had a great 50 triple insanity.
Yeah, Lynn might be our guy.
No, he wasn't with us for long enough.
You could say,
Felton.
or a pre-fat Felton, like the Felton before he was traded for Melo, he was pretty good. Then when he was traded after he came back, not so good.
He was hit. He was good on that 2012-13. He's a good player. And then remember he had a gun charge or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. My heart tells me I got to put Novak in there somewhere.
He's your not your 6th man, but your 7th.
Oh, he's our 3.
He's our 3. We'll put him at 3. Just my heart. I don't know about my head, but my heart puts him there.
Who else would be the 3?
Clay Anthony Early.
He had a gun thing also. He got shot.
The all gun team.
You gonna put RJ there? I know he hasn't been there very long, but he'd probably be the best player of them at the 3.
If you want to know something about Owen, he's not the biggest RJ guy, which is shocking to me.
No.
There's nothing on this franchise. Like we're like a rotting corpse. The only sign of life is RJ, and you don't like him.
Yeah.
We can move on.
That's what I'm saying.
we can move on from the all-decade team. We're gonna focus on this now. RJ, why do you not like?
Ooh, yeah.
Why do I not like him?
Yeah. Are you gonna talk about him being inefficient? Yeah, he's inefficient. No one ever.
But I have never liked him. Like I didn't like him in college, like coming out. I just don't like one. I think he kind of doesn't really have a game that translates well to the NBA. Like he gets to the basket, but like struggles to actually beat guys off the dribble. Has no like pull-up jump shot or like in between game that can kind of like sacrifice for that. And he can't shoot threes, and he's a terrible free throw shooter for someone who gets to the line a lot. So I just think that like comes across as like a really inefficient profile overall. And he's an average, like to below average defender at best.
He's 19.
He's 19. I know he's 19, but I've just like never liked his game. That's like
I think you swayed me. I don't like him either now.
You guys like RJ, right?
I like RJ. I have a question. Would you have not have taken RJ at
That's what I say. I say that to Johnny. Like, there's no one else I would have taken. Like, I'm not going to take DeAndre Hunter or Darius Garland or Jarrett Culver. I think those are the 3 guys that got picked after, who all like are not great years.
No,
so,
none of them are really that great. Like, he was the obvious. This is the one like Knox and Ntilikina. You could argue they should have taken someone else. This one, like, RJ was the pick, and you just hope RJ ends up being good. So where I will disagree with you, but I think as far as working, they say he's an insanely hard worker. So I believe there's a chance he actually might improve.
I see his work ethic, and I think he's I say this to Owen a lot. He doesn't like it, but I truly think he's built for New York. Just the way he plays and the look in his eye on defense. Just I don't know. I just like it.
He's also cool because he doesn't like post his workout videos online. Like I love that about him because like every guy in the NBA in the off season like has to post like workout photos or videos, and RJ's like silent, and I think that's awesome because he doesn't need everyone to know that.
Forget every guy. KP. I just think it drives me crazy. KP rehabbing, posting his workout videos. Like, how about you just work out? We will find out later on you're better. We don't need these videos.
Nobody's worse than Cantor.
Oh
God, not even close.
Cantor at the Sky Gym, just working with Brickley.
Just shooting open threes for like hours.
The best was when he posted
the next season. Yeah.
The best was when he posted all those food pictures and then called out.
I shot 1,000 threes, and in the regular season, I'll shoot 2.
You guys remember when he shot a cheat day with all the burgers, and then he called out with
the burgers? I was just about to say.
Then he missed the game with an upset stomach.
Who tells them that this is like a great idea? Who tells all these players that like you put this stuff on Twitter and then suddenly Nike will give you $100 million? How about you just play well? That's actually what turns out works every time, just playing well. But so RJ, sure. I like how he doesn't always make it at the rim, but the way he gets to the foul line, I think that's high level. He seems like he's built like tough. Like he's not a guy that looks like he's NBA strong right out the gate. His free throw percentage has gone up. If you look at the charts from month to month, there has been improvement. He sometimes hits the 3. I mean, his shooting percentage is not great. I like his passing. I think his defense.
I like his passing.
His vision's good.
That's underrated. That's underrated about him.
He passes enough, but his vision's good.
He's a guy that does everything on the court. Like he does, like he'll set screens. He'll do everything. He'll try to he'll be in the right place. He knows how to play the game, and that says a lot compared to the other guys Knicks have drafted in recent
years. For sure.
Like Knox.
All right, I've got a question for you guys.
Okay, Knox.
Sorry.
RJ knows how to play the game. Knox has not a freaking clue how to play the game in comparison. But go on. By the way, if you don't like RJ, you better not like Knox.
I hate Knox.
I was about to ask you guys about Knox. So how are we feeling?
What do we think?
What are we feeling like?
I'm feeling that, as I said to Jay, we should have drafted Michael Porter, and I'm so annoyed we haven't. Knox looks. I am out on Knox. Jay.
Yeah, he can go.
In theory, you'd think he'd be a good 3-point shooter. The stats don't show it, and they may never will. But he has really good form. You think maybe if he shot like 7 or 8 threes a game, he could be a useful player. He never knows where to be on defense. When he drives to the basket, I'm shocked when the ball goes in.
Dude, if he only played 35 minutes for the next 6 years, he would be really good.
I know everyone keeps saying he's 19, he's 20. There's not enough time left on earth for him to develop his game to be a good player.
Yeah, I agree.
There's nothing there. Like, there's nothing to say, like, he's going to get better at this. Like, he's just an idiot. He just looks like an idiot on the basketball court. He just throws up the dumbest shots, plays no defense, does not pass. Does not pass. It's all.
Speaking of young guys that we may or may not want to give up on, Frank.
No, don't give up on him, please. Okay, I love Frank. I love Frank.
I worry that he's never just gonna be able to jumpers.
I think his defense is game changing. I think he's got great vision, but obviously the worrying thing is his jumper. I think he has great tools. I think he has better tools than Knox. I think he has a better IQ than Knox, and I see more with him than Knox. But the jump shot's got to go in. If the jump shot goes in, he's a very effective player, and that's something that can improve.
I mean, like he shoots 87% from the line. Like it's fair.
Yeah, you love Ntilikina. My question is, the draft comes up. Do you want to draft the point guard?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so you don't love him as a starter. We love him as he'll be a solid backup because I think every Knick fan should agree we still need a point guard.
I don't think he's a point guard.
Frank is not a starting point guard.
I don't think he's a point guard at all.
He's not.
He could be a useful NBA player. His defense, and I know you say his defense is game changing. It is some of the time. There's also a good stretch of time where I thought he was a really good defender. What's going on? He's not really making much of a difference. I don't see any highlights for him doing anything on defense. And a lot of the time, a lot of time, like you're playing against a good team, you're like, hey, why isn't Ntilikina guarding their best player? Because the Knicks switch on everything, so he's never going to guard the player we need him to guard.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk about Ntilikina, I usually use my heart more than my head because I remember like years ago when I was watching scouting highlights of him in France, like I was like, I want this guy. Like I love his body, I love his like defensive assets. I've been in love with him since.
Kind of needed a guy like that.
Yeah.
Because we drafted him the year after. Like our defense was so bad the year with Rose and Noah and like we had like one of the worst defenses in the league, and you just kind of needed that in there. And Frank at first gave it to you. Like he had 6. I remember he had 6 steals against the Cavs at the Garden. I was like, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be great. And he's had a couple of games like that where his defense has been so good, but it hasn't been like as consistent. And he doesn't like rate well.
Yeah, his ratings on his defense actually have gone down. I think he's a good defender, but like I don't think he's not Rasheed Wallace out there that you don't have to care about his offense. Like he's a solid player, but he needs the other side of the game. He needs to play. He needs the offense, or else his defense is not good enough to carry him.
No, he's not like Tony Allen, Jay Rose.
Yeah, he's not Tony Allen. The thing is, like the Knicks, they roll the dice with Knox and Ntilikina, and they went with really high ceiling guys who also have potentials to be bust, more so than other guys around them in the draft. And it's all a gamble anyway. But like Ntilikina and Knox, you were like, if this guy works out, he could be really good. But it's the Knicks, so they haven't worked out.
Yeah,
I would totally keep Frank, but him playing 20 minutes a game is not like, I know like Knicks Twitter is like, it's like a lot of people are like, it's heresy. He should be playing 40 minutes a night. I mean, I guess you can do that just because, like, to see what you have with him, but I don't think you're gonna see anything different. Like, he's like every once in a while he'll drive to the basket and like look really good, and then not do it. Then he'll disappear the rest of the game. Or I've also noticed lately, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, he'll focus on his offense and will get like 1 assist and be out there for 25 minutes. That's not a point guard.
Yeah,
he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard.
Elfrid Payton is not that good and gets a bunch of assists.
He'd pass. He's a good passer.
He's a good passer, but his shot is just really hard to watch.
Payton's a good passer. Yeah, but Payton like sets his guys. I mean, yeah. Then Frank
sets his guys up
like goes. Yeah, that's what he's at. Yeah, and Frank like doesn't shoot well enough or like drive well enough where like he can make up for that. You know, like not being a consistent, like a really good consistent distributor.
Shouldn't you be better at all this in year 3 if you're going to work out?
You know, his jumper hasn't gotten there hasn't been enough. And that was like supposed to be his translatable skill.
Yeah,
was his offensive skill was his jumper.
Yeah. I don't know. These guys, we were talking about it before. Like, shouldn't you be giving some of these guys some time in the G League where like it's less pressure and just like let them play? Like Knox playing for 30 minutes in the G League. Like, what's going to happen? Either he plays well in the G League and that helps him out in the NBA, or he sucks in the G League, and if he sucks in the G League, he probably sucks anyway.
Yeah, no, if he goes to the G League, I think that'd be huge for his confidence, assuming he plays well. And that's something he definitely needs because it's really hard to watch his body language out after he starts the game 0 for 4 from 3. It's just tough to watch.
I want to see some Iggy.
Yeah, you want to see Brazdakis?
I want to see Brazdakis.
And Wooten?
I was watching some highlights last night. Iggy,
but he's been playing well. He's supposed to be good. I don't know. I think from what I've heard, like he's not a very good defender, and like the Knicks, like him being down there, based on what I've heard, like I mean, like it's not the biggest of deals. Like let him play down there, and maybe he'll get a little better before he comes there. Yeah. We're not really missing out on anything with him down there. What do you guys think? Where are you guys on Mitch right now?
I love Mitch, but the fouling has been kind of infuriating recently. Like it's gotten better as Mike Miller has taken over.
It got better for like a little bit, and then it's kind of like I don't know. He has like 5 game stretches where he looks like he's gonna be like so good, and then it kind of like dwindles down a little bit.
I'm really not worried about Mitch though, honestly. Like he's the least of the young guys I'm worried about because I know the tools he has, his athleticism. A player with his athleticism should certainly succeed in the NBA. So I'm really not worried about him.
Played no college basketball. Didn't like get consistent minutes until the second half of last year. Like still doesn't really get the consistent minutes that he needs. Like it'll come. Like with time, it'll come.
What about you guys? What do you guys think?
No, I'm a big fan. I think we both agree about Mitch. I always say like Mitch, like a young guy that's going to develop, and I think Mitch will develop, you want to see like some decent flashes, him have some really good games, and this it'll like work itself out. Like he'll get better over time. And you've seen a lot of like really great highlights from Mitch. You've seen him like have some stretches where he looks really good, and that's what's supposed to happen for guys that will develop. Whereas that stuff doesn't really happen with Knox and Ntilikina. You don't see like any real stretches where they look all that great. We're just like pretending they're going to be really good.
Right.
I think I in the sense of like Mitch is young. I really believe he'll develop. RJ's young. I really believe he'll develop. I don't know about the other guys.
Yeah. Where are you guys on Trier?
We were just talking about Trier. I feel like the Knicks have done him wrong a little bit. I mean, like, I don't think he's all that great, but I think he could be a solid bench player. He's better than Knox.
I think he's pretty much the same, like Dodson with worse defense. So I don't think I don't know if there's really a spot for him on the team.
Yeah, I kind of viewed him recently as like a little bit of a Trey Burke 2.0.
He's kind of like, he's also like Dodson, just like, but he doesn't move the ball. Like he just only plays for himself. Like it's only for Zoe.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like he's just not a winning player. Like I don't know, he doesn't do things well for the team.
But I think who will be in the league longer, Knox or Trier?
Knox.
Really?
Yeah. Because Trier guy who can go overseas and he's gonna like
put up 30
put up 35 a game in China every night and make like $4 million a year, you know, like that's the type of guy.
I feel like Trier's gonna be one of those guys you're gonna like you need points, he's gonna be on your bench and he'll get you like 10, 12 points and like he'll have a role in the league for a lot longer, whereas Knox I feel like at some point the Knicks will move on, then he'll just like suck on his next team and then be playing in China.
I think Trier's gonna leave this Knicks team and never be heard from again.
Wow.
I agree.
I mean, we're not exactly talking about the best players here, so you could be right also. Who knows? What do you guys think of Miller so far?
I mean,
like, don't love. Like, team has been playing better. Like, that's for sure. Like, 100%. Like, we lost to the Raptors by 30 in November, and, like, barely lost to them the other night under Miller, and, like, that's not a coincidence.
And we got blown out by the Cavs with Fizdale, and then we blew the Cavs out under Miller. Like, I see a lot of good things with Miller. I don't know if he's like a long-term coach for this team. I mean, obviously, as every other Knicks fan is, I'm supportive of the Fizdale firing, and I like where the coaching has gone, but I don't know if he'll stick around for next year.
No, I think we need another guy. I don't think Miller just doesn't have enough experience, like, coaching high-level basketball, if that's mine. Like, he was, right before he was the Knicks G League coach, he was the coach at Eastern Illinois, and his team sucked there. Like, there was a really interesting article in The Athletic about it. Like, he only got hired for the Knicks because he knew the triangle to coach in Westchester. And he coached in Westchester. That's literally why Phil hired him.
Yeah.
I know, I knew that, but it's just funny even hearing you say it.
It's crazy. Yeah, I know.
What about you guys, Miller?
I mean, I don't even know anymore. I think he's he's definitely been an upgrade over Fizz. In some respect, like, sometimes guys work out and you don't like Van Gundy wasn't a guy the Knicks were like, this guy's going to be an amazing coach. Like, he just kind of took over and like ended up doing a really good job. I don't know. I guess if the Knicks played well the rest of the season, he's made a case for himself.
He has.
I'm fine with Miller because the more Millers out there, the less Mark Jackson rumors I hear.
Yes, thank you. That's for sure.
Almost, yeah, it's almost like I prefer Miller to whatever dumb thing the Knicks are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Scary. It's scary. But, like, we can all just agree that Fizdale is just an awful coach. So, like, how much better is Miller? Like, is Miller really that much better than Fizdale, or is Fizdale just mind-numbingly terrible?
A little bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys, just one more player I want to mention, Randall.
Mm-hmm.
It's 24, 25. Like, do we build around him? What do you think?
I like Randall.
Looks so bad.
But he was bad tonight. I don't think he's like a piece we should build around it. I think most Knicks fans can. He's a little overweight, and I just think he's unathletic. I just don't see a consistent jump shot with him. When he shoots threes, it infuriates me. I don't know. I mean, I think he's definitely not a top 3 option, and I think he'd be better suited on a team that has a go-to scorer, and then he can come get a rebound, a put back, maybe hit a 3 once in a while from the corner. But I just don't see him.
He like tonight. He turned the ball over just like spun and just lost it, as we've seen like many times this year, and just jogs back on defense like so lazily.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's making $20 million a year, and he just wants to take his money and go. Like,
he's
he does
terrible.
not give a shit,
it's like just so painful to watch him play defense.
You know, it's great. You're talking about like the Knicks, one of their best players. That's how bad this team is. Like everything you're saying is totally legit, but you're like talking about you can't argue the fact that he's like a top, maybe the best player, if not the second best player on the team right now. That's how bad.
No, I mean, for sure, it's
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Randall?
I don't know. I mean, like, he's looked better at times. He's obviously very talented on the offensive side of the ball. His defense can be passable at times. I'm not exactly saying like we should build around him, but we don't necessarily need to trade him. Like, we can bring him back next season. It's not the world. I think bringing back keeping Morris, not trading Morris is ridiculous. Not trading Randall is not ridiculous. Like having one guy
it's also
doing offense.
His contract is much harder to trade than Morris's.
Yeah.
And it won't be next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
some people have said maybe we should keep Morris, not trade him. Maybe we should keep these vets, not trade them. How do you feel about the trade deadline?
Trade everyone.
If you can, trade everyone. The season's a wash. If you could get like a first rounder from a desperate championship contender, even if it's like the 29th pick, like I'm totally happy for that. Like I would love that.
Even like a high second rounder for Morris. Like you just need to get anything you can, because like he's going to be gone most likely after the season, or he stays and like we win 30 more games with him next year, and then he gets old and like is no use to us. So like we're better served with like a 19-year-old project than we are with like a pretty good NBA player, but like just doesn't match up the timeline of this team at all. So
what if the entire offer is the 48th pick in the draft, like just a late second round, 50th pick in the draft, a late second round pick? Would you do that for Morris? That's the only offer on the table. Trade deadline. Do you do it?
A late second rounder? Sorry, it kind of broke up a little bit.
A late second rounder pick. Like the only offer you get, because I feel like the Knicks will just say the offers weren't good enough, so we kept Morris. Let's just say the offers are.
Honestly, I would probably still pull the trigger. I said on a podcast like 2 or 3 weeks ago, only trade him for a first round pick. But since there's literally been absolutely no progress like in this team whatsoever under Miller, just trade it. Just pull the trigger.
It's not going to be a playoff. Like you're not going to be a playoff team. You know, there's no point. He's won a 1-year deal. Like he's better served to be on a contender. Like
honestly, it's just better for both sides to just. He makes this team somewhat fun to watch on some nights, but is it really worth it? Like I don't know. What about you guys? Would you take for 40th?
Yeah. I mean, I would trade him for the 60th pick in the draft. I trade him for some of those teams' undrafted free agent they're going to sign. Yeah. You got to just trade. It's just idiotic to keep him. And Jay and I were talking before, like we have the vets. They're all playing. Morris is playing, and we're like the 4th seed on Tankathon. So like, we're bad with them. Like it doesn't. We're not getting any benefit out of keeping them.
Have you guys started your Tankathon simulators yet?
I did it the other day for the first time this season. It was depressing.
It's not a good draft though. It's a bad draft. That's the problem.
Leave it to the Knicks. The Knicks finally figure out how to get top 5 picks when the drafts go downhill.
Yeah. And then when we have the worst record in the league, we manage to get the 3rd pick, and then with the KP we get the 4th pick.
Everything wrong.
That's how it works.
Everything wrong. Like
that's how it works.
Like the year we drafted Dontic was the year that we got Knox, and we won like 2 or 3 games again this season for no good reason. We lose
2 more games.
Yeah, you lose 2 or 3 more games. Well, Frank's year and Knox year, we won pointless games at the end of the season, and there's always people at the time going like, "Well, it's all about culture. You can't make these young guys lose the game. They're playing for it." Yes, you can. Try to develop a team. Mm-hmm. Philly did it. It worked out. They had Simmons and Embiid. That worked out better. We got Knox and.
No, you.
Would you?
All right, so I have a
last question for you. The one asset that I think a lot of people disagree with me about trading, I think we should trade. Our most valuable asset we have is our cap space. I say no one's signing here in the next 4 to 5 years. Trade all the cap space, get assets.
Make the team are you like talking about like a Nets rebuild by kind of getting these expirings, take guys and then try to be competitive and then lure guys by not being a.
What like take a shitty contract with like a draft pick attached to it.
Yeah, shitty contract, draft pick. You could cut the guy right after, but just get the asset before the draft pick. You don't have to play.
The only worry is like, what if our guys do develop, and we still have that cap flexibility, like there's not a lot of hope for them. But like, let's say, what if we field a good team in like a year, and then we have cap space and we can add like a really good free agent, but then we lose that because we're paying, whatever, like a Chandler Parsons or like an Alan Crabb type, like $18 million a year, because that can just like, those are the type of contracts that can just cripple you,
Right.
So
what?
It's hard to give up that cap space.
Have you
I don't
watched
think
the Knicks? You've watched the Knicks long enough.
that's
Is
true.
that going to happen?
Yeah, I have.
I would
I think
like
it's-
that to be our problem. We're too good of a team, and the cap's an issue again. Like let that be our problem, as opposed to we just have a crap team with lots of cap space.
Right.
I think it's funny that we're talking about restarting a rebuild 5 years, 6 years into a rebuild.
Yeah.
It's just
Um,
always.
But the thing
it's
is, the
kind of
contracts are only like 4 years long now. So the Knicks aren't going to be good for the next at least 2. And by then, it's a tradable contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So taking on bad contracts is like,
yeah.
there's no downside, really. That's my thing.
I mean, the only downside is that Giannis, that we won't have enough cap space to sign the Greek Freak, who we know will definitely be coming here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna come. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, I interrupted you. What were you going to ask?
I want to ask you guys some of the rapid fire questions because you guys have been watching this team for a while. So I'm kind of curious what your top moments, top players are. Cool.
I mean, top player for me would be Ewing. Best player we've had in my lifetime.
Mine's Oakley.
I mean, Oakley's a good answer also. I like
all right.
Oakley.
Yeah.
Oakley's a number. I mean, they were fun teams to watch. I don't know. I don't. My favorite moment's just the '90s. Like I don't have a particular this is the moment. Jay, do you have a moment that your favorite moment?
Yeah, I can't relate to the 90s, but
I mean, beating the Pacers to get to on the way to the finals was
That
up
was
there.
awesome. Yeah.
Pretty much any playoff Sprewell moment in '99. I was just a huge Sprewell fan.
He's good.
Yeah, I wish I could really watch that guy, man.
He had a highlight today. He had like 46 in Milwaukee, and I saw he had 9 threes. I saw that video. That was on Twitter today. I think it happened like 15 or like 20 years ago. He was good. He was a good player.
Yeah. No, he was a hell of a.
I mean, more
We should-
recently, I was a big David Lee fan.
Yeah, he was actually the first Knicks jersey I ever had.
Me too.
So
I kind of loved the Jeremy. I mean, it was very short lived, but the Jeremy Lin era was pretty fun.
yeah, that was really fun.
That was
That's
a
just so cool.
Great 6 weeks.
I remember,
Yeah,
just to loop it in with today, like Kobe, obviously, is very sad. But I remember when he went head to head with Kobe, and it was like, cool, we have a guy that can go head to head with Kobe. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
38. Damn.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Crazy.
That really got me attached to the Knicks. And I remember that was like the first season. I was really watching them every night because it was just how fun and exciting this new guy was.
Yeah.
That's great.
More rapid fire questions?
Yeah, least favorite Knick. Like you can, it's a big question considering how long you guys have been watching the team. So let's say like of the decade.
I'm going to go with. Can we just go with Bargs?
I'm gonna
I
go.
know
with-
you guys said that earlier, but like
Owen was.
I said no. That was most infuriating.
I
Yeah.
just everything about him, the fact that they got him, destroyed the team, and like I just hated watching him and everything at his defense. There's so many guys to hate on this team, but Bargs just it helped take down a really good team. So Bargs is my number one.
Yeah.
My number one's J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith.
Why?
Wow.
Really? 6th man of the year.
Oh, he had like 6 good weeks, and he was pretty much trash the rest of that season. And I don't look at his splits by day. Like the guy just played hungover 3 days a week. He averaged.
We looked at the splits at the time. That is true, but
It's true. If you look, he averaged 23 points a game, like Tuesday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he averaged like 14 on like 20% shooting.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a really weird season because it was the Knicks got off to a like insanely hot start. They played really well, and then Amari came back, and they were basically 500 the rest of the way because they could never figure out how to play with Amari, and they went. They just left everything they were.
I just remember it was
what
like
a
3:30 in the morning, and I go on Twitter, and JR is like, "What's going on, guys?" And I just wrote like, "Go to bed. You have a game tomorrow."
That's funny.
But
Yeah.
JR, I as much as you give JR crap, like, I mean, compare to the guys we have now. He was a pretty good player.
Yeah, but he
At
could have
least
he could have
got
been
some
so
stuff
much.
done.
He could have been so much better.
He could have been
That's
so much better. absolutely, he should have been better. But at least he was good on the court. Like he wasn't horrible.
He's good on the court like 4 days a week.
I always hated the 6-man thing with him only because like you're like he's a 6-man. He's not a starter, which means he plays like 35 minutes. Like you're a starter, you play 30 minutes. Just because you didn't start the actual game, you played the whole game basically.
And you're playing against a lot of second unit guys.
I mean, he'd play against the second and the third. He would just be on the court the rest of the way. But he was highly athletic. At times, you would really like him because you knew what he did. He was infuriating just because like you knew he could be better.
I just hated we have a Sunday noon game. Looks like he's gonna play like shit because he was out chasing Rihanna until 5 a.m.
And that in the Celtics in the playoffs, who did he elbow? What was it like? He almost turned the series.
Oh, I remember this. Oh God, I don't remember who.
Was it Jason Terry?
Yes, it was Terry.
Yeah,
and like Knicks are up 2-0, he elbows Terry, and suddenly they go to Game 5 because like he just screws up the whole series.
Yeah.
He was infuriating. On the current team, Jay. On the current team, who do you least like on the current team?
Current team. The thing is, like, I don't like pretty much the whole team, but I don't hate anybody. I would say, I don't know. I guess I feel bad saying Knox, but like I just don't like his game.
Mm-hmm.
The same, like I agree. Like I kind of was gonna say Knox, but like at the same time, I want to see Knox play because I want to not even like have to, like I want to just let's figure it out if he's has any potential with it. Like, if there's anything there at all, so let him play.
I mean, I'm losing in field goal percentage this week in fantasy basketball by .004, so I'm very mad at Randall right now.
You guys have anyone you don't like on the current team?
Portis. It's got to be Portis.
Portis.
How could I have forgotten about Portis?
Yeah. Jay, I remember you were like, hey, Portis is not that bad in the offseason. You were like, you didn't think that was the worst acquisition, Jay.
I know, but I'm going to give you credit for being right on that one.
I was with Jay. I didn't think it was that bad of an acquisition either. He's kind of a young guy, always on pretty bad teams. I thought maybe he could thrive, but man, I was wrong.
Totally a good teammate. Really good in the Bulls. Like, really good teammates.
Yeah, punching dudes in practice.
That's what you want from your play. That's how you build chemistry. That's culture.
I mean, if you told me like, hey, the Knicks are going to go after a guy who fractured his own teammate's jaw in practice, like that's an Onion article, right?
That's our guy.
That's our guy. All right. So if you had to choose, I'm going to give you guys a few names, and if you have to give 3 words to describe them.
Ooh,
cool.
Like that. Yeah.
For each of you guys, let's start with Fizdale. 3 words to describe Fizdale in his tenure here.
Totally, completely incompetent. Empty suit. Likeable, empty suit.
Take that data.
I think that's good.
No offensive scheme.
No scheme at all.
That counts as 3.
Plays ?
I got. Well, if I give you give me 4 words. At least hot wife.
It's true.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Mr. Potato Head without the NBA skill.
That was more than 3 words.
Yeah. I'm going sentence here.
Yeah. How about let's go James Dolan. This should be a pretty easy one.
Sell the team.
Absolute.
That's perfect.
Absolute rock. I got it. Absolute rock guard. Absolute rock god. Please go and tour. You're so good at music. Forget about the Knicks. Sell it.
I don't think you're getting the whole 3-word concept, Mark.
I'm explaining my 3 words now. Okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's great.
His music. I don't know what you're talking about with his music.
Like, we should all listen to his music more and more. So he really thinks he's someone, and like, hey, like, I don't need to own the Knicks. Like, I should just pursue this.
That's right. JD in the straight shot full time.
Yeah. We'll give you guys a couple more. How about Perry? Scott Perry.
Fraud.
Really? All right. Damn, that's
Okay.
tough. Jesus.
Mediocre.
Defer to Mills.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. What about Mills? I think Mills is even worse than Perry. I mean, Mills is
Been here
terrible.
forever. Yeah, he's terrible.
Clown, sham, fraud.
I like it.
Mills is
How about Frank?
Frank.
Yeah.
Where's my
Don't
shot?
go out my card.
Where's my shot?
Where's my shot?
Oh God.
Offense any day? Question mark.
Hand off top key. Because all he does is hand off the ball at the top of the key instead of initiate the offense.
And then not get the ball anymore in the possession.
How about hide in corner?
Will develop eventually? Question mark.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Locked up Luka.
He did lock up Luka.
Yeah, I'm sure. What did he hold? He held Luka to like a triple double.
32.
But it was a weaker triple double, so it was good.
What was it, who was the guy that locked up Giannis last year?
Vonleh, Noah Vonleh.
Vonleh. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, what is defense on Giannis?" He held him to just all-star numbers against us.
Yeah.
It was like 50% shooting.
Yeah, we locked him. We held him.
Like we didn't give up 45 to Giannis on Christmas Day. Like we didn't embarrass ourselves. We might have lost.
We went to that game.
Yeah, we were there. It was pretty hype. Vonleh was really put in the clamps.
Well, that was like the LeBron Travis Ware game. Where
Yeah.
Le-
Oh my God. Travis Ware, he shut down LeBron in Game 3 of the season.
LeBron had like 24 and 7.
Beat
They're
the
like,
Cavs.
Travis Ware shot him down.
Our 17.
I miss Travis Ware. What's going on with Travis? Where's Travis Ware?
He's on the Lakers G League team.
Oh, really? Why do you know that?
I don't know.
You should be studying.
I love
You should
that.
be studying. We shouldn't know that.
That's because he has a blog, travisware.com.
Yeah. In fairness, his parents probably don't really know that either. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are my rapid fire questions. Actually, I'll give you one more. I think this is an obvious one. It's really between two guys. Who are you most excited for in the future? I'm assuming it's between RJ and Mitch.
Mitch.
Yeah, I think of the two, the one that we have to. I like Mitch a lot. I think he's going to be good. RJ is the one that's like, he's definitely a future starter.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't
Definitely.
think RJ's a future starter?
Definitely.
He needs to be a starter.
I think Mitch
Well,
is
I mean, he's the guy that we really need to like focus. He's the guy of the two of them. The one that has a better chance of leading us to being a better team is going to be RJ. I don't know if Mitch will be a starter. I'd like him to be a starter. He does a lot of special things. RJ's the guy that I mean, he's not going to ever be the best player on the team.
I just thought definitely was a little bold.
Okay, Jay. This team sucks, Jay. What do you want from me?
Can we go back to 3 words?
What do you guys?
To what?
What's your answer?
I mean, probably RJ. I think Owen's gonna go Mitchell
It's
Robinson.
got to be Barrett.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what Mitch is. Like, he'll catch lobs and block shots his whole career, but, like, how great can that be, you know? Like,
I need RJ to become a
ceiling is,
superstar.
like, peak DeAndre Jordan. Like, you know, like...
Yeah, that's where I go with
I
like,
need-
RJ, in theory, if he develops, he can develop all these skills. He does a lot of things on the court. Mitch does some stuff also, but, like, I don't know if Mitch is ever going to develop an outside shot.
Wasn't the question who you're most excited?
Like,
I don't understand
like,
questions, Jay.
I mean, Mark, I don't think you're understanding any of this
who you?
question.
Yeah, interpret it as you wish. Interpret it as you wish.
Okay, I'm most excited by RJ. Jay, what about you?
Mitch.
Okay.
RJ
cool.
doesn't excite. Watching some guy shoot 50% from the free throw line does not excite me.
Okay,
That's fair. I mean,
have a
there's really no wrong answer.
I'm going to give you 3 choices: Mitch,
Mhm.
RJ, or a yet to be named first round pick from this year.
Okay,
to be named first.
depends really where it is.
It does. You're not going to know.
You know it's going to be Ball. The Knicks are ending up with Ball somehow.
You have right now. We don't know. It's going to fall somewhere in the top 10. You have no idea where it's going to be. Who are you more excited about? This yet to be named top 10 pick, or these guys?
Yet to be named top
I think
10 pick.
that's a good question, but I would probably go RJ.
I'd go yet to be named.
I think I'll go
RJ.
RJ.
He's not all that.
He is.
He's not.
I see it.
He's not all that.
As
Mark,
much
what about you?
As much as I like RJ, yet to be named just sounds so much better to me.
Oh.
It at least gives you
We've
hope.
been
Like,
saying that for years, though.
Yet to-
I know
It's
every
hope.
year. The current.
I guess I'm the only one here.
Jay, what do you say for that?
Yeah, no, I'm going for what's in the box.
From what you've seen from the next class, who do you want? Like if we get the first overall pick, who would you want?
Well, who's the one that's everyone says number one?
Cole Anthony.
Edwards.
Cole.
Todd Edwards. Ooh.
Anthony Edwards, right? Is that the right name? Or?
Yeah,
Edwards.
that's who I want.
I wouldn't take Cole, not Cole.
I definitely wouldn't want Cole. I would either want Ball or Edwards, honestly.
Good, man.
Ball can't shoot. He can't shoot. He was shooting like 8 or 9 threes a game and shooting like 25%. He can't shoot. Can we not?
His core vision.
Pass.
Yeah. From what I heard about that guy Nico, sounds pretty good.
Banyan.
I like him, not as a number
enough,
one overall
not enough,
pick.
not
Not as a
enough.
number one.
Oh, well, not as number one. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go with I hate draft. I hate draft talk this early just because I'm like, wow, this is so
Understood. But I'm a big Georgia fan, which is where Anthony Edwards is. So I'm watching them pretty often, and I like what I see. Strong body, athletic, good on defense. I like what I see. So I'm gonna go with Edwards over Ball.
I mean, my understanding is that the issue really is like it's after him. It really is a crapshoot.
Yeah, it could be. It's not a good draft really after the top 3.
I don't want Wise.
We don't need a guy like Wise.
I don't like the idea.
Yeah, neither do I.
But after him, like after Edwards, like there are a bunch of point guards. There's kind of, I don't want to say point guard heavy, but there are a number of point guards the Knicks could take here will be reasonable guys to take and like hope they're better.
It's really not a crapshoot. The guy after the guy the Knicks pick is going to be an all-star.
And the guy before,
yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's just that's a given.
Or before, after or before.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Yeah,
because like John Zion would be are incredible. And
they're missing out on Shea. And just so aggravating.
Missing out on Shea.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Michael Porter will get more painful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good times.
It's just part of being a Knicks fan. We as young fans, we've kind of come to realize this, and we've accepted it.
The Steph thing also gets rubbed in our face like once a year. You know, like he does an interview. He's like, "Oh, I thought I was going to the Knicks, but."
Yeah.
Why do they even ask these questions anymore? Like, Steph,
right?
Remember when you were drafted? Did you want to be a Knick? Sure. Why are you asking this? Because we just like to troll our fans.
Yeah. We survive on Knicks fans' tears.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't you find like the reporters go find Larry Bird? Hey, Larry Bird, did you want to be a Knick? Just say it for the article.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be a Knick.
Yeah.
Man, Larry Bird wanted to be a Knick. Nick screwed that one up also.
Yeah, no, that's some New York media kind of and New York bias kind of stuff that you'll get. Just it's part of it. It's part of it. You got to live with it.
Anyway, it's been great talking to you guys. Thanks for having us on.
So much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, where can our listeners find your podcast? Plug away.
Sorry.
Plug your stuff for our listeners.
Knicks Rewind Podcast, available everywhere. It's just pretty much us talking weekly.
We have a website, knicksrewind.com.
You can find all of our episodes
there. Also follow us on Twitter at Knicks Rewind Pod. We're active. Yeah.
Yeah. To our very small foundation of listeners, you guys want to go?
Oh, Jay, you can do the honors.
Because you don't know it? Or...
I don't know anything, Jay. Just talk.
We're NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, all that stuff. And our website is thenewyorknickspodcast.com. And
awesome. Thank you guys so much. We had a ton of fun doing this. We hope to talk to you guys again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. We'll check in after the trade deadline when the Knicks inevitably screw it up.
They will.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, yeah.
We're not going to trade anybody. That's just part of it, guys.
It is.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope to talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Take care.
Wait. I have one final question before I just stopped recording, but I have a final question.
Oh, sure.
How was your audio? How was your...
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. This is the end. Say goodbye.